on the 53rd day of Donald Trump's war in Iran, because that is exactly where we are. And the president did hit the pause button once again. The 2-week ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. was set to expire tomorrow, and it seemed that all hopes for peace talks before that had completely crumbled. So this afternoon, Trump announced that he will extend the ceasefire. In a social media post, he said that he made the decision because Iran's leadership is so fractured, he wants to give them more time. Trump says the ceasefire will continue until Iran's proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or another. The U.S. blockade of Iranian ports will also continue. But at this point, here's the thing. We still have not heard anything from Iran. And by the way, this is now the 6th time that the president has extended the deadline for Iran to avoid any attacks on its electric plants. All right, we got a lot to get to, so let's get smarter with the help of our leadoff panel. Jeff Mason joins us, Washington correspondent and senior member of the White House team at Bloomberg. Sam Stein, managing editor for The Bulwark and MS Now political contributor. And retired 4-star U.S. Army General Barry McCaffrey, a decorated combat veteran of Vietnam and a former battlefield commander in the Persian Gulf. General, what is your thoughts, your reaction to the ceasefire extension? Because we're still seeing some American soldiers stopping and boarding ships. It's unclear to a lot of people what a ceasefire even means.
Yeah, well, I think it was the only option that President Trump had left. To try and dial up the war again after we've hit 13,000 military targets and have not achieved the submission of the Iranian government would have been foolhardy. He has no domestic support for the war. We have almost no allies in the global community. I think China is gloating over our misfortune. The next options militarily would be to try and have the Marines seize islands at the Strait of Hormuz, which they could do, to have the 82nd Airborne assault Karg Island, 400 miles up the Persian Gulf, to have a division try and establish a perimeter around Esfahan to seize, 1,000 pounds of HEU and 5 tons of other nuclear materials. All these are extremely perilous options, and we're not going to do them. So he's stuck. The Navy's got a very effective counter blockade, a stranglehold in the Iranian economy. They can probably put up a stiff fight for another economic fight for another 4 to 6 months.
Jeff, I want to know if this seemed strange to you, given how well you know this president. He held an event at the White House today with a bunch of college athletes. He was there to talk about sport, sure. But he did not mention Iran, and it was only a few minutes after he announced the extended ceasefire. How unusual is it that the president made no mention? And since he didn't, what do you make of that?
I thought it was striking. I think the question is good. I mean, this president is somebody who at multiple times over the last 6 to 7 weeks, 8 weeks, has started off his events at the White House, be they in the East Room or in the Oval, talking about the war and giving an update on the war. And right before this particular event, he made a major announcement about the war and then didn't say anything about it. What I would read into that is that he didn't want to be on camera contradicting what he has said multiple times over the last few days, including in an interview with me on the phone yesterday when he said he did not expect or it was unlikely that he would extend the ceasefire. And that's exactly what he did today. So it's another mixed message. And yet it is, in many ways, as the general was just saying, the big option. I don't know if it was the only remaining option, but it was certainly a top option for him, even if he didn't want to say that ahead of time, because he clearly wants to get out of this war. And that's what he's been signaling for some time. And yet he also doesn't want to get a bad deal. And that's what he said to me yesterday as well, that he was in no rush to get a deal because he didn't want it to be a bad deal. And having a deal at all is core to President Trump's identity as the deal maker in chief. So that is also a high value for him here, even as he is giving these mixed signals and turning around from what he had said yesterday and over the last few days about his intentions.